What's going on, Timberwolves fans? Tyrus here, back again. Episode number 15. Yeah, we made it to 15. They're still keeping me on. Who could have seen this coming? No, I appreciate all the love the show's gotten so far. Timberwolves guys, dead heat of summer. But, trade deadline, what if the team isn't what we all think it could be? I know it sucks to talk about, but we could be looking at a team that isn't, what a 50 plus win team, which is what we think it will be and needs to be. But if we're not, guys like Randall and Gobert are the two that I think are going to be out the door first. Who we're going to target, they're going to be cheaper options. Like maybe we have some injuries too. All of that said, I have no clue who they'd be targeting. Like you've got guys who'd probably be on the move, like older guys. Maybe Vooch would be on the move. Maybe Kobe White, Josh Giddey. Maybe DeMar DeRozan. Um, I don't even know who else could be on the move. Maybe the Celtics would look to move some of their guys too, get even cheaper. Um, the Hawks could look to move some guys if that team that they've kind of assembled down there isn't working. Um, yeah, I mean, the door is wide open in terms for trade deadline stuff, and I think that's going to be pretty interesting to see uh, if it holds out. If we're going to have to be a buyer, we really haven't been a buyer in the Tim Conley era at the deadline. Like we've only made some moves that really didn't affect anything as far as I can remember. Like we got Shake Milton and dude, I can't even remember the other guy's name. Like who we got that season. Like it was so minimal that it was like we don't really need to even talk about it. Like we're not a trade deadline team. We haven't been in this new era, so it's interesting to have to think about it. But hopefully we won't. Like all said and done, let's be sitting here in April and we know every single guy's name because they were on the roster in October. Like I don't want to have to be like, man, I wish we still had blah blah blah. Man, I wish Gobert was still on the team. Wish we didn't trade him for blah blah blah. Like I don't want to have to be that team in April and have to be like, oh well, do they still get a ring? They were on the team. Yeah, I'm talking about winning with whatever roster we assemble at the trade deadline. That would be bonkers. Pretty unheard of. But yeah. Next up, I'm sure we've all seen the news. Malik Beasley was found innocent by the FBI, which is crazy that they didn't find any gambling stuff there after all the evidence they seemed like they had on the guy. He came out clean. I feel bad for him. Like he was set to make like a lot of money, like 40 million, and all of the money's kind of dried up because they paid it other guys who were not being invested for gambling issues. So sorry, Malik, that does stink. Um, Here's a veteran minimum from the Timberwolves. Come be our shooter. Who says no? Malik says no. That's who says no. Someone will still pay him probably a 1 year, 12 mil is my guess. That's what I'm going to hedge him in at. He's worth it. Like he's a good shooter. He's a good player. Sucks that he was put in this position, but he's going to make an absolute bag in the next offseason because obviously they're not going to find him possibly guilty of tampering with games 2 seasons in a row. But when he was on the team, I really enjoyed Malik Beasley. He had his problems defensively, but shooting wise, he was an absolute spark plug. He gave us Rudy Gobert and all that's come with that. I liked him. Didn't see anything wrong with him on the team. Thought trading for him was pretty good when we did get him. Um, yeah, I don't know. Tell me how you guys feel about Malik Beasley homecoming, but I think it could be a wicked move for the Timberwolves. Um, yeah, that's all I have on Malik there. But another guy that I think it's worth talking about signing for the Timberwolves, Russell Westbrook. We've talked about plenty of other backup point guards, backup Conley and Rob, or some shape and form there. Do we want Westbrook? Westbrick, as he hates being called. But no, is that someone we need in the door for Ant and the rest of the team? I don't think so. I am not a big Westbrook fan. That Freudian slip, my bad. I don't think we need a guy like that. I think he causes more problems than not. We saw him lose a Nuggets game versus us when he wouldn't pass the ball. We've seen him, the Lakers. We saw that whole era. Like he is gonna go down as a Hall of Famer, one of the top whatever players ever. He obviously holds the record for most triple doubles all time, until Luka will beat that probably. But is he a team player? No. We play team basketball on the Timberwolves. We do. Like, it's obvious. And a guy like Russ, I think, would disrupt that. And I think when we're looking at backup guard positions, a guy like Malcolm Brogdon, Landry Shamet, like, they fit the role better because they're going to come in and not be like, I have the most triple doubles in the NBA. Give me the rock. Like, that's not the role that Ant needs to be surrounded by. Ant needs he likes dogs around him, but not that kind of dog. Like, he doesn't like he likes other dogs that are gonna work in a pack. Like, he doesn't like another dog who's like, what do you mean? Like, I'm a lone wolf. I do this all on my own, baby. Like, no, that's who Russ is, and I'm not the biggest fan, and I don't think it'd be a good mesh with the team at all. Like, so if we can avoid it, let's avoid it. Let the Kings sign him, and they can be a nice little 10 seed. They can have fun down there in Sacramento, and we can beat up on them in the Emirates Cup, because apparently that's something that we have to care about as NBA fans. So that's my 2 cents on Russ. But talking about veterans, I think this one is worth talking about for a bit. Anthony Edwards, who is his mentor? Like, you can point to a lot of guys having a mentor on their team for a while. Ant hasn't consistently had a veteran outside of Mike Conley. Like, right away, I would point to Patrick Beverley. It was a pretty good choice there. Like, he was a bit of a disruptor, but good guy. Kind of gave Ant that little bit of edge that we all liked to him. Then, we had Conley come in, and he's kind of guided Ant in the ways of being a team player and a good point guard and someone who can actually assist on the team instead of just be an aggressor. We're going to switch words. An aggressor, like maybe Beverly did, or Cat was a mentor too. I guess he's only slightly older, but he kind of showed him what was important in Minnesota and how to like. There's a lot of love that Ant got for Minnesota, and I think that comes from town. I'm not. That's my 2 cents on that. But outside of those three guys, it's like, who's Ant's mentor? And I don't even know if it has to be from the Timberwolves. Is the biggest thing. Like, he played on the Olympic team, and I believe that Curry impacted him a lot. He got to hang out with his idol KD after he just swept him. I can't imagine the impact that KD and him had on those weeks they spent down in or over in Paris for the Olympics. So he's a weird case because I don't think his mentor is someone on the Timberwolves. I believe it is another player in the NBA like KD or Curry or even LeBron. Like, those guys are pouring into him because they see that he is the next big thing for the league. Like, Ant is the up and coming, along with whoever else you want to put on there with him. They have to pour into him if they want to see the league succeed with him. It's plain and simple like that. I believe this team can be very good under Ant, and I don't ever see him mentoring a player. He's going to be a guy that goes out on top probably one day at age 39, hopefully, with a lot of records and a few rings under his belt, hopefully. But it's a curious thing to look at because you can point to a lot of these guys having some sort of mentor. Like, Shea had Chris Paul, only for a little bit. Like, Luka had Dirk for a little bit. Now he's got LeBron. Yeah, I mean, those are my two main examples. That's who I toss up there with. I think it's important that these young guys have the mentor, especially someone who's on the team and can be like, this is why we do it for this city, this fan base. Like, here's what they mean to us. Here's what they mean to me. And they can kind of learn that instead of a player coming being like, oh, this is a business. I'm just here for a business. I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of where things are at. Dead heat of the summer. Season's coming up. Preseason games coming. We'll start talking about those as those start. I appreciate all the love you guys have showed. Continue to drop comments. Do all that. I love it all. Timberwolf to end today's episode. Let's stick with him because we talked about him. The trade deadline legend, who is Shake Milton. And with that, I love you all. See you guys in the next one. Take care.
Bro.